Climate change was not a big concern 100 years ago. The effects at first were minor and nearly unnoticeable. Now, however, the strange changes in weather are concerning people all over the globe. Global warming, one of the negative effects, is beginning to melt frozen regions such as the Antarctic continent. Native species are being threatened as their homes are quickly being destroyed by the unfamiliar warm temperature. Not only are the animals being affected around the world as their natural habitats are being torn apart, but humans as well. States News Service says that the IPCC recently reported that temperatures will significantly increase in the Sahel and southern African regions, and rainfall will slightly decrease, and tropical storms will become more frequent and intense, with a projected 20% increase in cyclone activity. Without rainfall, serious droughts can occur. Essentially, this leads to less crops. This alone can be undoubtedly life-threatening to the human race. Not only is global warming a major issue, but so is the increasing amount of carbon dioxide being released into the Earth's fragile atmosphere. This allows excessive heat to be trapped on the Earth. While climate change can cause droughts, it can also do the opposite. Richard Allen, a researcher in climate change, states that human-induced increases in greenhouse gases concentrations led to the intensification of heavy precipitation events over large swaths of land in the northern hemisphere. Increased precipitation can cause floods and other dangerous disasters. This unfortunate situation is bad for the Earth and needs to be eliminated. Climate change can be solved through introducing better methods to prevent global warming, natural disasters, and greenhouse gases. Climate change is the distortion in a place's usual weather according to the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. This is an issue because climate change can kill organisms and make a mess of the ecosystem. Many organisms, for example polar bears, live in sub-zero conditions and are dying because of global warming, a form of climate change. That being said, many species of Daphnia are dying too. Daphnia are small organisms that are vital to the ecosystem, and without them, many food chains will cease to exist. Food chains disappearing due to climate change is a real issue that the world faces today because organisms are dying, and when organisms die, it affects the human race by depleting international food sources. Furthermore, global warming can cause wildfires. A lot of the time, wildfires occur in dry areas of the world, for example, California. This is an issue because wildfires can cause slow and painful deaths across dry regions in the world, and they could be prevented by fixing global warming by educating government officials on the topic.
From common landslides that keep traffic stopped, to tornadoes that destroy thousands of homes yearly, to the many hurricanes that victimized areas during 2017, natural disaster is an occurrence that takes many forms and causes a great variety of destruction. These acts of devastation are increasing exponentially. In fact, according to the Munich Reinsurance Company, the amount has doubled since 1980. These results are comparable to the United Nations Environment Programme's similar results from a study taken from 1900 until today. It is believed widespread that the changing climate has subsequently resulted in the rise of natural disasters, and because of this, action must be taken. While many regions have started to become prepared for the worst up front, to be more efficient after the fact, a greater strategy must be put in place as well. Working towards the reversal of climate change must be done in order for the frequent natural disasters to go down. Overall, natural disasters are but a symptom of an overarching problem within today's world.
Greenhouse gases occur when gases trap heat in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and fluorinated gases all impact the atmosphere. Each of these are harmful to climate change based on how long, how much, and how abundant they are in the atmosphere. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, carbon dioxide is emitted through everyday human activities such as combustion of fossil fuels. Every human uses some type of transportation in their life. A statistic by the EPA found that in 2015, carbon dioxide deemed 82.2% of all U.S. government greenhouse gases emission liable for everyday human activity. Anytime an engine runs or a light switch is powered, fossil fuels are put out into the air. Methane is extracted through agriculture and waste from homes and businesses. For example, manure from livestock is kept in holding tanks, which later emits methane. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, agricultural soil management is the largest source of NO2 emission in the United States, accounting for about 75% of total U.S. NO2 emission in 2015. Lastly, fluorinated gases are ozone-depleting substances. Anything from aerosol cans to fire retardants, solvents to a refrigerator. Sure, it would be hard to go without a car or a refrigerator or electricity, but humanity should not use those as a reason to abuse climate action.
Climate change can be prevented from further destruction through the development and use of effective laws and regulations for it. By setting laws and regulations in place, people will be less likely to continue harmful habits that cause climate change. Catherine A. Trisellini, a professor at Loyola Law School, explains that recent scientific assessments report that global emissions must be cut 50 to 85% by mid-century, with dramatic cuts within the next decade to avoid triggering irreversible changes to life support systems. Without creating laws, the Earth can be permanently damaged due to the heat being trapped in the atmosphere. Catherine goes on to explain the current laws being set in stone to combat climate change, one city at a time. By doing it this way, the load is light and more achievable. Trisellini states, one estimate found that if just the first 230 signatory cities succeed, their reductions will equal those expected from Kyoto commitments made by the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, and all the Scandinavian countries combined. If the cities affected by this new law work together, the results will have a positive impact on everyone around the globe. One article even suggests suing the largest power producers for failing to stop their greenhouse gas emissions and as a result creating a nuisance under tort law. By pushing mandatory rules onto big companies causing a large percentage of greenhouse gases, climate change will decrease. Setting solid laws and regulations into place can effectively eliminate greenhouse gases that are causing our Earth to be damaged.
Climate action is defined as taking urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. Climate change, natural disasters, greenhouse gases, and the laws and regulations are all factors of climate action. These factors affect each living organism. Ultimately, this planet is the only home that the humans will have. If they continue to harm it, the Earth will turn to mistreat humanity.